Hurricane Milton tracker Category 4, storm heads toward Florida's Gulf Coast, massive evacuations ordered. The hurricane is forecast to make landfall in Florida Wednesday night. Hurricane Milton was downgraded from a dangerous Category 5 storm overnight but remained a very powerful Category 4 hurricane as it took aim at Florida's Gulf Coast, which is still reeling from Helene's record-breaking landfall just over a week ago. While fluctuations in intensity are expected, Milton is forecast to remain an extremely dangerous hurricane through landfall in Florida, the National Hurricane Center said in its 11 a.m. ET update on Tuesday. 51 counties in the state of Florida are under a state of emergency, with millions facing the prospect of evacuation ahead of Milton, which is expected to make landfall in the Tampa area Wednesday evening. Speaking at a press conference Tuesday morning, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis emphasized that while wind speeds may have slowed, Milton is still a major hurricane with the potential to strengthen again before it makes landfall. Even if it does weaken, you're still looking at a major hurricane, DeSantis said. It is going to have really significant impacts. If it remains on its current path, Milton could be the worst storm to hit the Tampa area in over 100 years. The hurricane is one of only 40 hurricanes on record that have escalated to a Category 5 level in the Atlantic, and one of 7 hurricanes to have gone from a Category 1 classification to a Category 5 in 24 hours or less. Officials with the Federal Emergency Management Agency described Milton as the third fastest growing storm on record in the Atlantic, following Hurricanes Wilma in 2005 and Felix in 2007, during a call with reporters Monday afternoon. Where is Hurricane Milton, and what is its path? As of 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, Milton was located around 130 miles northeast of Progreso, Mexico. It was about 520 miles southwest of Tampa. The storm had maximum sustained winds of 150 miles per hour. The storm was moving east-northeast at 9 miles per hour. The National Hurricane Center warned this morning that a large area of destructive storm surge will occur along parts of Florida's west coast. This is an extremely life-threatening situation, and residents in those areas should follow advice given by local officials and evacuate immediately if told to do so, the Hurricane Center said. Portions of the Florida Peninsula and the Florida Keys can expect rainfall of 5 to 10 inches, with localized totals up to 15 inches through Wednesday night. Such rainfall brings the risk of considerable flash, urban, and aerial flooding, along with a potential for moderate to major river flooding, meteorologists said. Meanwhile, portions of the northern Yucatan Peninsula can expect 2 to 4 inches of rainfall. Watches and warnings. As of 11 a.m. Eastern Time Tuesday, a hurricane warning is in effect for Celestún to Rio Lagartos, Mexico, Florida's west coast from Bonita Beach to Suwannee River, including Tampa Bay, and Florida's east coast from the Indian River-St. Lucie County line northward to Ponte Vedra Beach. A hurricane warning means hurricane conditions are expected within the area. Precautions and preparation for people and property should be completed. A hurricane watch is in effect for Florida's west coast from Chocoloskee to south of Bonita Beach, Rio Lagartos to Cabo Catoche, Dry Tortugas, and Lake Okeechobee. A hurricane watch means hurricane conditions are possible within the areas and is usually issued 48 hours before the hurricane is anticipated to hit. A tropical storm warning is in effect for Rio Lagartos to Cancun, all of the Florida Keys including Dry Tortugas and Florida Bay, Lake Okeechobee, Florida's west coast, from Flamingo to south of Bonita Beach, Florida west coast from north of the mouth of the Suwannee River to Indian Pass, Florida east coast south of the Indian River-St. Lucie County line to Flamingo, and Florida east coast north of Ponte Vedra Beach to the mouth of the St. Mary's River. A tropical storm warning means tropical storm conditions are expected in the areas within the next 36 hours. A tropical storm watch is in effect for the coast of Georgia and South Carolina, north of St. Mary's River to South Santee River in South Carolina, and extreme northwestern Bahamas, including Grand Bahama Island, the Abacos, and Bimini. A tropical storm watch means tropical storm conditions are possible in the areas within the next 48 hours. A storm surge warning is in effect for the west coast of Florida from Flamingo to Suwannee River, including Tampa Bay and Charlotte Harbor, and the east coast of Florida from the Volusia-Brevard County line northward to the mouth of the St. Mary's River, including the St. Johns River. A storm surge warning means there is a danger of life-threatening inundation during the next 36 hours. A storm surge watch is in effect for south of Port Canaveral to Sebastian Inlet, Florida, and the mouth of the St. Mary's River to Edisto Beach. A storm surge watch means there's a possibility of life-threatening flooding. Evacuation orders. As of Tuesday morning, the Florida Division of Emergency Management had ordered mandatory evacuations for people living in evacuation zones in 11 Florida counties, and voluntary evacuations for 4 others. DeSantis urged residents to follow evacuation orders but stressed they do not have to travel far to be safe. You don't have to evacuate hundreds of miles, DeSantis said at a press conference Monday. If you're in areas that are susceptible to storm surge, you go to areas that are not susceptible to that. Every county has places within them where you can go, Maybe it's a friend's house, maybe it's a hotel, maybe it's a shelter. Mandatory evacuations are in effect for Charlotte County, Citrus County, Collier County, Hernando County, Hillsborough County, Lee County, Levy County, Manatee County, Pasco County, Pinellas County, and Volusia County. Voluntary evacuations are in effect for Dixie County, Glades County, Miami-Dade County, and Okeechobee County. Hurricane Milton comes just over a week after Hurricane Helene made landfall in Florida's Big Bend region as a monstrous Category 4 storm, causing at least 20 deaths in Florida alone. During a press call Monday afternoon, FEMA noted that the organization will not divert any personnel already working in areas affected by Hurricane Helene to Milton's path just yet. After making landfall with 140 miles-per-hour winds, Helene moved inland across the southeast, leaving more than 200 people dead and widespread destruction in its wake. Following the storm, Florida's infrastructure and emergency services have been stretched thin. Hurricane season runs from June 1st through November 30th, but the peak of heightened activity is usually from August through October. According to NOAA, a typical hurricane season in the Atlantic will usually see around 14 named storms, of which 7 become hurricanes and 3 become major hurricanes. As of early October, 8 hurricanes have formed in the Atlantic, with Milton becoming the 13th named storm of the Atlantic hurricane season. As CNN notes, hurricane season is running ahead of the expected schedule. Typically, the 13th storm of the season wouldn't hit until at least October 25th. Last week, Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas warned that FEMA did not have the funds to make it through the season. President Biden said last week that Congress may need to pass a supplemental spending bill in the next couple of months to help fund states' recovery efforts.